What's going on, guys? We got a big move coming for Bitcoin and the crypto markets. So, I've been talking about this pattern that Bitcoin has been in for the past maybe a week or so, right? And it hasn't broken either direction yet. But we have seen the bears actually try to break down from this pattern a few times. And the bulls basically just bought up the the downward price action here, right? So, March 28th, March 18th was one. We had a wick down. We had another smaller one, March 21st, and then we're having another one here. Okay. We're still in a bear flag, right? A rising channel or whatever you call it. And it favors a breakdown, right? So yesterday I talked about a possible breakdown, which is, a bear flag favors a breakdown for the bears, right? That's just how it is. That's how it's defined. Now, if we actually put the target according to today's candle, it will give us a target of about just right underneath $82,000 Bitcoin. Okay. Now that could definitely shake up the crypto markets because almost if not all altcoins eventually will follow a Bitcoin move. If you don't believe me, you can just look back to you know March 2024, just last year. When Bitcoin started doing this falling wedge here, right? It's the weekly time frame, and all the altcoins have just bled out, right? I have held altcoin positions during that period, and it was a very painful time to be holding altcoins. So if you guys have experience in just holding altcoins in the last year, just drop a comment. You guys can second that. Bitcoin is going to drive the markets. If Bitcoin consolidates for long periods of time, like we did last year, altcoins are going to bleed out, okay? So this move not only affects Bitcoin, but altcoin positions as well. Now, what are we seeing here? Okay, I talked about the bear flag here, right? So why I am still bullish on the crypto markets is, well, I have a few points, right? I've talked about this. One of which is very important, is that the price action is still above the daily 200 SMA, which is the orange line, right? It has broken back above that. That's basically the divide between a bull market and a bear market. Okay, you can look that up. You can Google that. The significance of a daily 200 SMA. We are above that right now. So that's one bullish point to make, right? Another one is, of course, we have had a few bear traps here, and it's going to take more than one bear. It could take more than one bear trap for the for the bulls to actually break out in the other direction, right? So if the bulls actually break out of a bear flag, that is significant because that tells us that the strength of the bulls are actually very strong to actually push this price action out of a bearish pattern, and that could be that's going to be a very significant move. Um, Now let's also compare. I just want to make the point that that it could take a few bear traps for bulls to actually push this price action higher. So if we actually come to the weekly time frame here, right? This was, let me illustrate this candle, August 5th, the August 5th weekly candle here. You see that the bears actually try to break down from this, push this price down and break down from this rising wedge. However, the bulls bought it back up, right? But it's not even until we actually got a lower weekly candle close before this price action actually went for a breakout here. If you guys remember that time, it was a pretty scary time. From about August, September to even the breakout of this falling wedge, which was uh, election week here, November 2024, right? So that is the second point I wanted to make. We are above the daily 200 SMA. We have had quite a few bear traps on this bear flag here, where they actually try to break down, but the bulls bought it back up. The other bullish point I wanted to make is if we actually come back to the weekly time frame here, I've talked about this. If you guys watch my videos, I've talked about this. So we see that the price action actually broke down from this weekly 21 SMA, which is the blue line. And I'm just speaking from experience, right? It doesn't have to happen, but more likely than not, I would usually see the price action come back up to retest um, the support it broke down from as resistance at the very least, right? That's more commonly than not. Just from experience, of course, right? So if that is true, then I could see price action for Bitcoin come back up to retest about 94,000, which is where the blue line is here, right? And that will also mean that the price action has to break out of this bear flag. Now we do have the daily 50 SMA coming into the pattern here, which is currently at about 89 to about $90,000 here. That's going to be resistance. And let's take a look at the shorter time frame here, right? We do have a falling wedge, which usually breaks to the upside here. This is the 4-hour time frame, right? So I'm looking for a break out of this upper trend line at least, right? That would tell me that it's a good sign that bulls are at least coming up here to at least try to break out again, right? So those are some of the bullish points I want to make, right? And one more thing is, when I do see, just from experience, right? When I do see, what are some indicators of a breakdown of a bear flag that I'm looking for? So this is the daily time frame. I'm usually looking for bearish divergence. Um, that could spell out a breakdown, right? And on this daily time frame here, I don't see bearish divergence yet, right? I see a higher high on the price action chart, and I see a higher high on the RSI. So it still looks great in terms of strength, right? So those are some of the bullish points I wanted to make, right? The bearish case, always have to acknowledge the bearish case because I like to speak in terms of probabilities, right? This is not, nothing in this market is for sure, right? I can only make good bets, right? Not sure bets. And when I make bets, I like to risk manage. That means, if I actually, if my bet actually comes back against me, I need to know what I'm gonna do. So that's why you don't follow someone online blindly, right? You have to just make your own logic, make your own strategy, and the only way to do that is actually to learn the ideas and the concepts behind technical analysis. So, like I said, bearish case scenario, we are still in a bear flag, and that usually favors the bears, despite all the bullish points I just made. Let's take a look into the S&P 500 mini features, which is very highly correlated with the Bitcoin chart and of course the crypto markets, right? We can see that if we actually come down to the weekly time frame, pretty similar charts, right? We had a breakdown recently. Very important chart to also keep in mind, because if the stock market futures crash and the S&P 500 actually starts taking a dive, that's most likely going to crash the crypto markets as well. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. S&P 500 is still not, it's still kind of retesting that daily 200 SMA range, right? We see a little bit of a retest back up here, but now it's still in that range. Very important to be keeping an eye on this as well, because if this thing, this could tell me, this could front run a Bitcoin move, right? Or it could tell me a lot about what Bitcoin could do ahead of time. So that's what I'm looking for right now in the markets. Of course, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You guys got to do your own research. I could very well be wrong about what I'm saying, right? So that's what I'm seeing. Now, if you guys do want to get some free stocks with Webull, if you guys are in the US, do check out my affiliate link in the description below. I will also make a commission if you guys use my affiliate link to sign up for Webull. So that's basically it. Subscribe, like, comment. I will bring you guys an update tomorrow.